Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. It is Tuesday, August 21st, 2018, and this is the Bottoms of the Barrel comedy show at Shakers! Yes! Shakers, conveniently located at 3160 North Clark, right off Clark and Belmont, close to the Belmont red line, purple line, brown line stop, just down the way from the Cubs. Are the Cubs winning this year?
Who cares?
Who cares? That is so true. Like, they won 2 years ago and I didn't notice. I straight up did it. I had a job interview. They were like, "Oh, did you celebrate the Cubs win?" I'm like, "Oh, they won the game?" Like, no, they won the World Series. I was like, "Oh, wow. I missed it." And the guy's like, "Oh, yeah, I've loved the Cubs forever." I'm like, "Oh, are you a local from Chicago?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm from Moline." I didn't mean to give him side-eye, but it just kind of happened. So I am your host, Thomas Bottoms. This is Bottoms of the Barrel. Jason is working the bar tonight. We've got some great drink specials tonight. You got $3 domestic bottles, $4 well drinks, and $4 Jaeger and Fireball shots. And again, if you don't drink, feel free to buy me a drink. I am so ready for the alcohol. As Jason and I were talking about, I sometimes have a very dirty mouth, and no amount of vodka will clean this out. We can try, though. That's half the fun. Also, just to let you know, in case you want to buy me a drink, after doing comedy for close to 10 years, I'm tired of relying on talent. I am so ready for the casting couch. I am. Like, I had a situation, it was a voiceover audition a couple years ago. That wasn't a microphone, but it was a 30-second audition. My street name's No Mess Thomas. It's okay, I have a friend, his is double penetration Pete. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so as you all can tell, we have to obey FCC regulations, which just means we watch Scandal and learn that you can Eiffel Tower somebody and still get it past the censors. Just don't say the F word, never call a woman the C word, even though in these trying times, I don't know, if someone called Melania Trump the C word, I would say, "I don't care, do you?"
Yeah.
Hell, they made a jacket for it. So yeah, it's been a very, very busy day in the news. Like, Cohen, Trump's #1 personal lawyer who would take a bullet for him, decided to plead guilty of, yes, I paid off women so they wouldn't ruin your campaign, and apparently they qualified as campaign contributions. Interesting. And then Paul Manafort, he was found guilty of 8 out of 18 charges. I guess we could call this whole port issue like a Manafort destiny. Boom, I'm here all night, everybody. Aretha Franklin passed away. That was really sad. I've been listening to the Queen of Soul as my boyfriend. Give a round of applause for Mikey Chip working the camera and the sound and everybody. He's a drinker too. He likes Jim Beam. So if you want to get him a Jim Beam, feel free to do that. He'll take it on the rocks. If you want to get me a drink, vodka. Vodka's my little black dress. It goes with everything. Someone said vodka prune juice. I'm like, yeah, that's a colon blow. Bring it on. It works better as a shot, though. It works better as a shot. And don't eat Taco Bell anytime within that moment. But yes, Aretha Franklin passed away, and I punished my boyfriend because I sat Shiva for Aretha, and we went through the Aretha Franklin discography. And at some point, like, he can just turn it off, and can we listen to like Diana Ross? And I shouted, Diana Ross can't sing like Aretha Franklin. And he replied, yeah, no one wants to dress like Aretha Franklin. Too soon? Is that too soon? Okay, I'm sorry. Well, apparently Fox News thought Aretha Franklin looked like Patti LaBelle. So it's bad enough that they don't hire black people. Apparently they don't hire proofreaders either. But I guess Fox News is tied to like National Enquirer because the Aretha Franklin picture they used was straight up a front page cover of Riri Ain't Having It. Don't know what that was about. On my way to work today, I work downtown, and anyone else have to take the L when you go to work? Round of applause, yes. The thing that bothers me is on the busy train when you exit and you have to walk down the stairs, and there's always someone really slow in front of you reading their phone. And I don't oppose of violence, but I had an umbrella today, and I wanted to just like accidentally trip them down the rest of the stairs and say, oh, I'm sorry, I was reading my phone. Actually, I wouldn't have to admit anything. They wouldn't see anything and thought they fell. But there was a man, and he had a man bun, and he was sure enough walking down the stairs, and I looked at his phone, like, what was so important that you had to plod down the stairs? And he was looking at the scalp of someone with like a full head of hair. It's like, Juan, bend down, Juan, bend down. Like, that was the image right there. It was like someone's full head of hair. The only thing I could think of is like, hopefully he's getting help. Like, he had a man bun. How do people feel about man bun? Like, ladies, have you gone on a date with a guy with a man bun? Oh, you have. So did you feel a quiver as you saw his man bun wobble between your thighs? I apologize, I don't know how that date ended. I would just think you'd want to be a cat and start smacking it like a cat, like a ball of yarn, or maybe it looked like a fuzzy bunny tail trying to get into a rabbit hole that it just can't fit. I don't. So please don't tell me the graphic things, but how was it dating someone with a man bun? Y'all just shrug. It's like, yeah, it was a guy, he paid for drinks. Oh, I say a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Did the man bun inspire him to be a better date?
We dated for 2.5 years.
You dated for 2.5 years. Did you ever demand that the man bun come down? And has the man bun been popular for 2.5 years?
Oh, the minute we broke up, he got a haircut.
So the minute you broke up, he got a haircut.
Yeah.
Do you feel partially responsible for his hair choices?
100%.
Like, did you tell him like you loved looking at it?
No, I think he just needed to change.
Oh, okay.
You know,
All right.
breakup drama.
Because I've seen some, like I was, again, on public transportation, some guy got in and he was wearing like short shorts with black stockings and combat boots and a black mock turtleneck. And he had his man bun with the tendrils and this purple long scarf kind of wrapped around him that was almost like Playboy sexy, but he wasn't a Playboy model. Like, you know how they strategically pose. And only thing I could think is that he looked like Vera from the TV show Alice. I don't. Which is sad because like she actually passed away and no one noticed. Oh well. It's trying times though. It's trying times. I keep a journal. I don't know if anyone else keeps a journal. Good, don't do that. Because I feel in these trying times, I'm going to become like the sexploitation Anne Frank of the Trump administration. And you know you have to really bring some A game if you're supposed to upstage Stormy Daniels. I just don't know. But we're gonna run some basic rules here. All right, so you guys gonna get 8 minutes. I'm gonna light you at 7. If you want to be on camera, this is smack dab in the middle. Like they can see me at home. And you see this microphone right here? That's recording us for the radio show on Saturday. Why do I point that out? Because if you go talk over there, no one can hear you. That has happened. You see this table here? This is how far we can go that the camera can see us. And then we go over here, and this chair is as far as we can go. So if you feel the need to start running around, there's your marks. All right, we're teaching you to be professional and everything. So FCC regulations, no curse words. I have to say that I am kind of particular on that. I was recently at a party at my house, and someone thought they could play Baja. You don't need to know who Baja is. You know who Baja is?
I think I do.
Okay, we don't have to bond over it. Like, Baja's music is so bad, I don't even play it to show how bad it is. It's like, no, it's hurtful. And they wanted to play Baja, and I'm like, no, you need to get out of my house to play Baja. Well, they went on the back porch. And suddenly I started hearing, "In time for you." Like, I wish I was joking, that's how her voice sounds to me. And I had to open my kitchen door and go on my back porch and said, "Porch is still part of the property, get your ass on the stairs." Are we ready to play? Are we ready to have a good time? Yes! This is Bombs of the Barrel, we're going to bring up our first comedian. Give a round of applause for Jackie Cooper.
Thank you guys so much. Guys, don't I look good for just having had a baby? Thank you so much. I didn't just have a baby, but if I had, you guys would be like, she looks great. Like, we can tell, but she looks good, you know? No, I didn't just have a baby. I did just have a pregnancy scare. All of the worry, none of the calories. My period was a week late, and I have to admit, when I finally got it, I was sort of disappointed because I was starting to get excited about being one of the last women in the U.S. to get an abortion. Sorry, get an abortion and not die, you know? What's cheaper, a closet full of children's clothes or one wire hanger? It is dark. It's dark, guys. Times are dark. We're literally putting children in cages. You guys seen those pictures? Yes. Don't agree, but no, it's not a great thing. A friend of mine posted the pictures of immigrant children in cages on her Facebook with the caption, "I don't want you to be able to look at anything else. My wish for you is that you only see children in cages." I was like, that's weird. My wish is that there wouldn't be children in cages. Are we getting wishes? I think you wasted yours. But in these dark times, we have to hold our loved ones close. You know, I've been talking to my mom more recently. Anyone have a good relationship with their mother in the audience? Woohoo! Yeah? So what do you and your mom talk about?
Oh, it's what we've been doing, I guess.
What you've been doing? My mom and I talk about fingering, so it's sort of similar. You know. Yeah, does that mean that we're too close? I think that it does. We were talking about fingering the other day, and I was like, sometimes it hurts. She was like, I know, I always have to tell your father to clip his nails. Not great. But what's worse is growing up, we only had one set of nail clippers. And they were kept in my dad's bedside table. And now I know why. It's worse for me, guys. It's worse for me. Speaking of moms and sex, I was watching a porn the other day called Moms, Scrams, and Ecstasy. Scrams. What a great typo. So relatable, am I right, ladies? Like anytime anything good happens, I'm like, let's get out of here. Let's scram. I'm getting a lot of scam phone calls recently. Anybody else been getting these? Yeah, I always get one that goes the exact same way. It's like, this is the IRS. The United States government has filed a lawsuit against you for tax evasion. If you don't respond, local police will act. I'm like, look, I'm not an idiot. I know this is a scam. But also, I have never paid my taxes. There's a chance the IRS is just being super chill and giving me a head start against the local police, which I appreciate. I feel bad for everyone who died on 9/11. Let me finish. I do. But I feel particularly, there's like a soft spot in my heart for people who died on 9/11, not from 9/11. You know what I mean? Like, let's say your grandma happened to die on September 11th, 2001. You go to school the next day and the kids are like, do you know anyone who died on 9/11? You're like, yeah, but not how you think. 9/11 joke, check. Back to everything else. Someone was asking me what my ideal threesome would be the other day. And if I had to choose, I guess it would be like me, another girl, and a guy. And the guy is just like ignoring the other girl. Looking me deep in the eyes and whispering, you're funnier than her. There would be no penetration. That would be enough for me. I like choking in bed. Anyone else like something weird in bed? Great. What do you like, sir?
Choking.
Oh, great. I was going to say just kidding, but you answered, so I'm glad you're here. This joke is just for you. No, I do like it. When you like something like that, I think you have to sort of explain to yourself, like, why do I like something a little bit messed up, I guess. But it makes sense to me because, one, it creates a sense of intimacy between you and your partner. You have to really trust them. There's a sense of a loss of control. And also, if it goes poorly, your partner's going to jail. They say pregnancy is the best man trap, but there's truly no trap like 20 to life. Am I right, ladies? Guys, I'm just kidding. We all know men don't get arrested for domestic violence. Grow up. That's true. My boyfriend and I have been trying dirty talk recently, which is exciting. He's good at it, me not so much. He'll be like, talk dirty to me. I'm like, you're bad. He's like, I'm bad. I'm like, oh. You're a bad boy. It's like, how bad am I? I'm like, you're so bad. You deserve a timeout. He's like, what? I'm like, you heard me. Get up, put your clothes on, and stand in the corner. He's like, that's not how this works. I'm like, you do not give me lip, mister. He gets up, puts his clothes on, and comes immediately. So it works, ladies. I was telling that joke at a mic with some dudes and at 2 separate mics. I was booed by the men in the audience because I announced that I have a boyfriend. I had to ask myself, like, why? Why would they boo? But I guess it makes sense to me because, you know, men get into comedy to find a wife, you know? Like, they're so emotional and erratic. They just can't control themselves. That's why a man could never be president. It's true. They couldn't. They're bad at it. I'll end on this. I am lactose intolerant. Which is, oh, you too, man, thank you. That's just a polite way of saying I need to know where a bathroom is at all times. Like within a 2-mile radius of my apartment, I could tell you every public restroom. You could call me like a shit cartographer. Or like the Christopher Columbus of bathrooms. You know, I go into places that already existed and just ruin them. Instead of killing native people, I murder porcelain. That's all I have. Thank you guys so much.
Jackie Cooper, everybody, give her a round of applause. She brought up September 11th. We all remember where we were that day, I guess. Where was I? I don't know. But I had a recent situation where I was dealing with Boston TSA at the airport, and they confiscated my acne cream. They were like, what is this? I'm like, that's my acne cream. I have bad skin. Oh, well, we're going to have to confiscate it, and you don't have bad skin anymore. And I said, well, I will now. So the TSA agent said, hey, I'm just doing my job. And so I said, hey, if you did your job 17 years ago, we wouldn't have these problems. So I caught a later flight, and I do like your dirty talk. I have to give you a round of applause for that. Way back when I dealt with a gentleman who would be like, oh yeah, tell me how much you love this. Tell me how much you love this. And so I always like, I should have taken a ventriloquism class. We're going to bring up our next comedian. This man is no stranger to many people. Give a round of applause for Juan Chavez!
Some people say I look intimidating, but I think they just don't understand me. Sometimes when you're a really smart kid, you turn into a really dumb adult. I graduated high school with a 3.7 GPA and a 30 on my ACT. But in my defense, have you guys ever tried pot? I got a BA in Women and Gender Studies with a concentration in queer theory. I wish I would have gotten something more, sensible, like a degree in sociology or Russian literature. People underestimate how crazy I am. I'm so calm and collected. But what you don't see is a storage locker 60 miles outside of town with, I shouldn't say. Trish Reagan of Fox Business News recently went after Denmark. I went onto Twitter and I told him that Denmark snatched her ugly ass wig and read her to filth. I think I found my new calling. I'm on that hardcore blow that keeps you up at night, unfettered insomnia and depression. Really, 18-year-long addiction for me. No one says this enough, but if you ever try to convince someone you're not crazy, they're not gonna believe you. Especially if you're in a psychiatric hospital and you're there against your will. I recently had to explain to someone what fisting was. If you don't know, it's like playing with a human puppet. What you really don't know is that I'm really good at it. People underestimate how kinky I am sometimes. I'm into just, the basic vanilla stuff, piss, choking, bondage, leather, nothing too crazy. I'm also into eating ass, eating butt. It's, if I had to live on a desert island for the rest of my life, I really wish there'd be a butt there. Growing up, all I heard was that I had a ton of potential. Well, this is what it looks like when potential dies. I love reading about conspiracy theories, not because I think they're true. I just really like fan fiction. A guy recently told me he couldn't date me because I was too serious and he wanted a guy that could make him laugh. I told him I was a stand-up comedian and he said, well, you're not a very good one. I couldn't really argue with that. If I could go back, I'd tell my younger self to really lower my expectations. Donald Trump made me realize that business schools were full of crap. DePaul business students made me realize that they're unhuman. I recently, for the last 18 years, have had the worrying thought that I might become a serial killer or someone who commits mass genocide. I'll give you serial killer, but I don't really have the charisma to be a mass genocidal maniac. I really like to surround myself with people who have the same fears as me, mostly that I will become a serial killer. Again, I do have a storage locker 60 miles outside of town with objects that I can't tell you about. But I swear they're just for sex. I'm currently in a transitional stage in my life. I am moving out of an apartment, and I am not moving into another one. Currently about to live in my car for a week, but it's not so bad. It's not like my windows don't have AC, the windows don't work, and I'm too poor to get a room at Steamworks. Don't really know how to end my set, so I'm just gonna leave.
Juan Chavez, everybody! Give him a round of applause for being old school and not creating a GoFundMe. Yes, Juan Chavez. We're gonna go ahead and keep this going. I don't want to go anywhere near any of those jokes you've talked about. We're gonna bring up our next comedian. Give a round of applause for Brian Bianchi.
Hey guys, it's going on? Happy to be here. I'm going through kind of weird time in my life. Kind of like an identity crisis thing. And it's happened before for me. Like in high school, I wanted to be black. Alan, stay with me. No, but in high school I called myself B twice, and I wore matching Kobe Bryant jerseys with the high top Jordans, and so yeah, I was a virgin throughout high school, if you're wondering. And that carried on into college, and luckily I joined a fraternity and bought a lot of white friends, and here I am wearing shorts and high socks. No, but it was weird. College was weird for me too. I never really bought into the whole fraternity life except $400 a semester, but like I didn't really believe it. You know, I was always kind of like a lonely, like kind of loser dude. Like so, I turned to magic. Any magicians in the house? No? Yeah, didn't think so. I had one good trick. I was known around campus for this trick. It happened on a Thursday night, and I had some friends in the room, in my dorm room, and we were being really loud. We were doing some magic, and I got a knock on the door. It was the RA of the dorm, and he's like, "Hey, you guys got to keep it down. You know, it's 2 a.m. Like, what are you guys doing?" I'm like, "We're just doing some magic, man." And he left. He's like, "All right, well, if you guys don't keep it down, I got to call the cops." I'm like, "All right, man, whatever." I shut the door, and I'm like, "Whatever, dude." And like 20 minutes later, a cop comes, and he knocks on the door. He's like, "Hey, what's going on in here?" And I'm like, "Nothing, man. I'm just a magician doing some magic tricks." And he's like, "All right, let me see your ID." And I pull out my wallet, and like an idiot, I had my fake ID and my real ID in the same wallet. Yeah. So I pulled it out and I showed him, and he saw my other ID. He's like, "Well, what was that?" He's like, "I saw another ID." I'm like, "No, you didn't." He's like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, "Let me see it." I'm like, "No, you didn't see anything." And I threw my wallet at him and yelled, "Houdini." And then I magically appeared in a jail cell. Yeah. When I say magic, I mean acid. Yeah, it's weird waking up out of a blackout and being in a jail cell. Anybody been arrested for anything? No? Pretty lame. Okay. It's actually great, man. If you ever, like, I was in jail and, like, I didn't have to talk to anybody. Ironically, I read my first book in college in jail. Like, that's how broken our education system is. But it was great. Like, my girlfriend would come there and, like, she would have to, like, say, "Can I talk to, I'm visiting Brian." I'm like, "I don't really want to talk to her," you know? And so she would go home. Like, I can't do that now. I'll get my dick chopped off if I did that. Yeah, but, so that's where my life kind of was then. And now it's kind of weird. I've been looking for a new roommate now, and I found my first roommate out of college on Craigslist. So I've been living with my dad the past couple of years. He was like never really there for me growing up. It was kind of a strange situation. I showed up at his door, like, "Hey, Dad, you remember me?" He's like, "No, but do you have any weed?" I was like, "Dad, I just graduated college. Here, I got $1 in my pocket. You know, what do you need?" He's like, "No, I want some weight." I'm like, "Some weight? That's a pretty slang term for a 64-year-old man to know, but sure." So I called my drug dealer, John, who's really the only consistent thing in my life at the time. And I said, like, "Hey, John, can I get a quad and can I get an eighth?" And he's like, who's the quad for? I'm like, it's for my dad." He's like, "Who?" I'm like, "It's for my dad, John." He's like, "Your dad smokes more weed than you?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, John, I have things to do." He's like, "What do you have to do? You're unemployed." I'm like, "John, I'm like 3 seasons behind in Game of Thrones. Okay, like, things to do, man." See, I am white, so finally found that out. Yeah, going back to like me now, it's kind of a weird situation. I'm a dad too. Yeah, I know. It doesn't look like I should be. You're right. You should be a dad. Yeah, I am. It's fucked. But I'm happy, man. I love being a dad. I hate everything that goes up to it. The fucking gender reveals, the baby showers. Meeting her parents, that was tough. Yeah, and just like I don't know, I don't know how it happened either. You know, like just like thinking about it, like when my like sperm got in there, they must have been like kind of lost. Like, wait a minute, this isn't an empty Nutella jar next to Brian's bed. Where are we? You know, like if I feel like it's like from my perspective, like if one sperm might have been like kind of like a drunk, the other one might have been kind of like high, and the last one was super anxious and depressed. And I think the anxious and depressed one kind of left the same way he came in. He's like, I can't do this. I'm out of here. And like it was left to the drunk and the high sperm. And I don't think the high sperm really made it. I think he might have stopped at like a Taco Bell and got a BP5 layer, maybe got a little preoccupied. But I do think the drunk sperm made it because I always find my way home. And I think that guy found his way up there because I got a kid now. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, like, so they sit you down. I don't know, anybody have kids in here? Yeah? Yeah, Phil? Yeah, it's great. Yeah, man, they sit you down in this gender reveal place, you know, and then here, just take a seat, your life's over. I'm like, okay. And they had the ultrasound, they're looking for the kid. And, like, to be honest, like, I never went into the room, like, wanting to see a penis more in my life. I really wanted a boy. I was like, please, let me see, sorry, euphemism, male genitalia on that screen. But she was looking with the ultrasound, and she couldn't find anything because the baby's legs were closed. And I was like, well, I know she didn't learn that from her mom. Cause that's why I'm here. Yeah. But it was great. She typed on the screen, it's a girl. And I was still in denial. I was like, are you sure? Like, maybe it's like caught up on the trends out here. Maybe it thinks it's a girl, but it actually wants to be a boy, you know? Like maybe it'll morph her dick on its way out or something like that. But no, that didn't happen. She's like, have you thought of any names yet? I was like, no, you just told me like 5 seconds ago. I was like, well, what about Misty? She's like, why Misty? I'm like, well, it'll be short for mistake, obviously. I'm kidding. I named her Amelia in hopes to lose her over an international flight. I did have this kind of my first love kind of in college after being a virgin and trying to be black. It was a really weird relationship. She was super religious, super Republican, super Trump, whatever, and I was, you know, pretty liberal, I guess, at the time, and still am, and like and she didn't want to hang out with me, and I had to pretend like I was like, you know, one of those, and she's like, are you religious? And I said, extremely, and she believed me because she's really religious and they believe things. And I went over there on a Sunday morning to make it even more ironic. You'd think she would be in church, but I felt like the snake almost in Adam and Eve, but instead of an apple, I pulled out a bag of weed. I was like, hey, you want to smoke some of the devil's lettuce? She's like, no, like, why do you have to say it like that? I'm like, I don't know, just trying to be funny. So we're smoking, we're going at it, and I'm just doing like a powerful doggy style, kind of like this, and I stopped myself, not because that, you know, but I looked down and she had 2 webbed toes. Yeah, and I'm not that shallow, you know, I'm like, whatever, you know, but I was like, wait a minute, you don't believe in evolution, yet you're still part tadpole? But it was cool. She let me do anal, so that was pretty tight. Alright, thanks guys.
Round of applause for Brian Bianchi and his daughter. Give him a round of applause for that. I don't have any kids. Oh God, I'm happy about that too. I mean, I'm a gay man with 2 cats. I don't want to deal with anything I can't euthanize. But I'm glad you wanted to name her a nice name. If I ever have a daughter, by some bizarre accident, I'm going to name her one of the cats, after one of the cats. We're going to call her Abby. So people will say, oh, is it short for Abigail? It's like, no, it's short for apathy. She will be the coolest junior high kid ever. I'll force that. You mentioned the racial identity issues you've had, and until I reached the 9th grade, my entire school pictures were, oh, where's Tommy? You would spot the white kid. Like, lived in Window Rock, Arizona, Postbrook East Apartments, Country Lake Apartments. Yeah, the Yelp had 1 review, ghetto. So whenever I deal with those people where someone like feels the need to remind me I'm white, I'm just like, oh, keep doing that. That will endear me to you. Oh, I love that one. But you mentioned getting arrested. I'm not going to talk about the time I got arrested, but ages ago, after high school, I got engaged to a guy, and he got arrested, and I was a good hoe, and I went to go visit him at city jail, and I bumped into my friend Andrea and Trelanda. I was like, oh, hey, because they were visiting their boyfriends too. But then they got into a fight because they were dating the same guy. It was really awkward. Now, our next comedian, she has nothing to do with the word awkward. I hope not. First time seeing you. Give a round of applause for Emma Hilliek!
Oh my god, I am so awkward, so I'm sorry. Yeah, the world's crazy, so it's terrifying, and I was thinking back on my life, upbringing, all that stuff, because I have to go to a shrink now, and so we have to think about good things that happened, and I was like, well, I went to Catholic school, so not much. But it's a little more frightening to think about that happening now to kids, because the only thing that's scarier than nuns is nuns with guns. Because people want teachers to carry now. It's like, what? My parents are also teachers, and that is a terrifying thought as well, because they can't deal with mental illness, and a gun will not help them. So Catholic school, good times. Made me think of my girl, Sister Jean Patrice, who was our religion and sex education teacher, which makes sense that the Catholic school would put those together. And I was like, she taught us a lot. She looked like a linebacker. She had a hot flat top. She was like ready for it. We didn't get along because she talked about dancing in rainbows and my whole life was a dark cloud. But they did prepare us for knowing the difference between men and women at kind of a young age. Because she took us on this sexual education journey into our school's church, and we were all 14, and she sat the men on one side and the ladies on the other, and we each had a secretary, and we had to write down questions we always wanted to ask the opposite gender. So we were like, us girls were just like, yes, like we're gonna find a husband right now. Like we're gonna find out exactly what it's gonna take for them to have their parents drop us both off at a movie theater. That's all we wanted. So exciting. And we were ready also to hear the voice questions, because we were like, we're gonna like get into their like deepest, darkest thoughts, and like they're gonna ask us all these personal questions, and they're gonna get emotional. Ugh. And then Sister Jean Patrice started reading the questions, and the ladies did. We did ask those questions, and we were like, we don't have like boobies or booties yet. Like it's just not happening for us. Like, can't you just like deal with our emotions and love for you? And they were like, no, it's not what we look for. And the guys had these amazing questions that we were just like, oh, letting us in finally. They were like, why do you have a couch in your bathroom? And can you pee with a tampon in? And so we all took a nice deep breath, and we were like, all right, here we go. Somehow throughout that class, I found my first boyfriend. He was very Catholic as well. His name was Patrick O'Neill. His sister's name was Patrice O'Neill. And that was their life. They were not even twins. They just were that Catholic. He gave me my first real technology breakup as well over AOL Instant Messenger. And my 14-year-old self was strong AF, and I was like, listen, buddy, you could have at least done this over the phone, have some respect for me. And he clapped back with, this is the thing. You really need to be with somebody that has more minutes on their phone plan. I was like, well, wow, you're right. Chatterbox. So not much has changed in my dating life since then. I'm not good at it still. I was thinking of making a Tinder profile because I'm just bored. But I don't know how I would present myself online. I smoke far too much weed to finish a task anyway. And it used to be fun when I smoked. Like, I used to get all giggly, and my shows that I used to watch were so funny and just, like, lovely. And now I just forget why I walked into my kitchen. And it's getting old. I don't know. I think about taking breaks, but then it's, like, my little happiness throughout the day aside from booze. So it's like, what to do? Trying to work on that. It's good. It's good. My therapist likes to enable me, though, and that's fun to play with. because he gives me excuses, and I have to go stop seeing him because he's always like, "Well, you're like in the drinking world, so it's fine if you have like a few more shots, right?" And I was like, "That's what I tell myself, but you're not supposed to. Get with it." Anywho, trying to date. I decided it would be a good idea to go out with some youngins from my work. I'm 27 now, so I'm kind of like confused at where I fit in the whole going out realm, because I'm a little too old to be falling off of couches while I'm reaching for shots. But I'm also too... No, I'm too old to do that, but I'm too young to go to like wine and cheese bars. I'm also way too trashy for that, and I don't have the money to spend on it. And I don't like wine. I like whiskey and vodka.
Woo!
And so yeah, the vodka tank. We'll drink later. But yeah, so I went out with a group of girls, and they were little babies, and she was like, "I'm turning 24. We have to go out." And I was like, "I'll find somebody to sleep with me at a club. Sure. That can happen easily." And it was great because I was in the middle of a major depression and anxiety spell, which for me means I don't like eat, and I like I get so skinny, and it's great. So I wore all black. I remembered the rules. And we went out there, and then I saw the woman that was serving us, and I knew that nobody was even going to look in my direction after double D's came my way. And I just can't compete. And I also forgot how to walk in stilettos, but I wore them. And that was a nice moment when I had to realize that once I planted myself like this, I wasn't moving. So all my dance moves are kind of like this. And whenever I wanted to go and reach for my vodka soda, I had to be like this. The table was so low. And then I realized again, I didn't care about the conversations that were going on around me because I can't relate anymore. Just because I care about the world and I have self-awareness now. And all we had Victoria and Aaron talk about were how Joey looked at their Snap story instead of their Instagram story, and the good pictures were on the Instagram story even though the better filters were on the Snap, so they didn't understand why I didn't look at both. And I mean, real problems are real problems, you guys. We had to figure it out. They never did. They went home with Sid. It was fine. They all made it in the end except for me, who went home alone when I finally had to move my ass out of there. I apologize to bathroom attendants too much because I never have any spare cash, but I always take their towels that they give me. And I feel really bad because they wiped up so much of my tears, and really they should be taking all of my donations and nobody else. But I want to be honest with you, truly, and talk about why I don't have a Tinder. It's because I can never remember my Apple ID password. Thank you, guys. Sorry. Put that back in.
It's all good. Round of applause for Emma Hillier. Yes, put your hands together for Emma Hillier. Oh yes, she's a whiskey and vodka drinker. She can party with Mikey and I. And if you want to party right now, there's the $4 well drinks and $3 domestic bottles and $4 Jaeger shots and a Fireball shot. So if you want to give me a shot, go ahead and give me a shot. Give a round of applause for Jason behind the bar. And Emma, I have to commend you for wearing those heels because I'm a firm believer of fashion first. I've gone places in shoes that, how far can you walk? About half a block. What you gonna do? I'm gonna sit and pose and look fabulous. That's what you need to do sometimes. There's enough ugly in this country. Starting at the top down with the president. We're gonna bring up our next comedian. He has been a guest often on my radio show. He even sat through the time where we celebrated the Parkland school shooting the survivors by playing Debbie Gibson's Electric Youth. Give a round of applause for Phil Burns.
Just hit the red button.
Okay. Ooh, someone gave me a shot. Yay!
Yeah, that was me.
John gave me a shot. Let me give John a hug. Yay!
I'm sorry, dude.
All right. Okay, I'll hit the red button. Shit.
So I know this is a little bit late, maybe a month or two late, but Sarah Sanders Huckabee got kicked out of a red hen or red robin or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I found out today that it's getting so bad in the White House They won't even deliver Papa John's, the most racist pizza chain in the country. And I'm thinking to myself, if they order from Domino's, you're gonna see all the employees from Domino's. Where's the order going? White House. Okay, get the bums out of the garbage cans in the back. Let's just get a bunch of pizzas together out of that. Yeah, I mean, we got a trashy government as it is. So, I took a DNA, the DNA testing, Ancestry, 23andMe, and Ancestry DNA, blah, 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 and all that. I actually took this test beginning of the year, and I knew I could take it. I have a lot of friends that can't take this test because they don't know how to spit. But I found out I'm basically, to quote Vin Diesel in Guardians of the Galaxy, I am Groot. Now, has anybody been to Disney World? Oh, that reminds me. You said you forget why you go into kitchens if you smoke too much? That could be dementia, too. Well, yeah, I go through it all the time. And I don't even smoke weed. Yet. I took my son to Disney World when he was 9 years old. The biggest thrill he got was getting out of the pool. He didn't bring swimming trunks. All he had were the basketball shorts. And he should have stayed in the pool because they would not stay up on him, no matter how tight he pulled the string. He kept basically mooning everybody. But my 40th birthday, I went to a place even better than it. I went to Pahrump, Nevada. Know what's in Pahrump, Nevada? 35 brothels. No, I didn't go to all of them. Only went to one, Mabel's Chicken Ranch. And I've been still trying to compare between Disney World and Mabel's, which one has the better ride? I already know the answer to that, Mabel's. Fourth of July has passed over a month ago. You know, one thing I know, and you can always tell us the 4th of July. The food eating contest. How many hot dogs did the dude eat this year? 76 or something? Do they drug test these people? I mean, come on. I'd have to smoke a lot of weed to eat 76 hot dogs. Or become gay. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to become gay, but probably smoke a lot of weed. But I just wonder, there was a woman a little Asian woman who weighed maybe 85 pounds, ate something like 10 deep dish pizzas in 5 minutes? Come on! I can barely eat 2 in 5 minutes. And I'm a lot bigger than her. But it's just amazing how they drug test in professional. And I'll tell you what, the one thing they drug test is for weed in professional sports. You know what? I don't see how weed can be considered a performance-enhancing drug unless you're at one end of O'Hare Field and there's a giant Hershey bar at the other end. Yeah, then you're going to break the minute mile. Definitely. You're going to break the mile, the speed record for the mile. I got my passport a couple years ago. Now, one thing, if you don't have your passport, here's some bits of information. You don't need a passport to go to Wisconsin. Every time I go to Wisconsin, I, for some reason, take it with me and try to show it, and they're like, don't show it, we're part of the U.S. Are you sure? It's nice and clean up here. Seriously. Don't mention utility knives to the people that are taking your application for the passport. They will red flag you, and you will have to go through a body cavity search for TSA. Ooh. Oops, never mind. No, I didn't. But yeah, it's weird getting a passport, and then you basically it's stamped twice for the same country, Italy. I went to Italy twice. And a lot of places, public establishments in Italy do not have our toilets, our regular toilets. They have this hole in the floor. And the only way to really use it is if you're into gymnastics, you're a contortionist, or you get really drunk on wine. because I mean, it's certain things. It's tough for a guy to. The women, yeah, and I'm nothing against women, but with women it's easier because all you have to do is squat and drop. But with guys, it's a lot more difficult because there's number one, you get to be my size and my age. There's nothing to hold on to, and it's really tough. But don't have. I mean, I tried once, got my business done. My clothes were still clean, and I was sober. That's what was weird about it. Now I used to live not far from here. Actually, I grew up not too far from here, but I used to live across the Wrigley Field, and I am not a Cub fan. Anytime during baseball season, I'll walk down Clark if the Cubs are in town, wearing my Sox jersey. It's like watching Noah part the Red Sea. 3 people got that joke this time? Wow. But it's just weird because in '84, no, this is before all your times. In '84, I was going on a date, and it was the 5th game of the playoffs, and the Cubs won. They were going to go to the World Series against Detroit. They were playing the Padres. Every bar I walked by, I'd go in for a shot to see what the score was. Cubs are winning 4-2. Yeah, okay. Drink my shot, leave. Finally, hit a bar not too far from here, and the Cubs were losing 6-4. I just walked out. 3 guys followed me out. I stopped, looked at them, they walked back in. I don't know. Let me think. Also, another cool thing that's happened around here. On Broadway and Diversey, same year, Hotter Than Hell. It was like the August 5 years ago. There was a drinker I knew running for alderman. Okay, his name was Jimmy Loftus. He had to give up his candidacy for alderman because he got busted walking down Broadway in an overcoat and shower shoes. He was flashing people, especially by the school at Broadway and Aldine. So, anyways, I'm going to give it back to Thomas. Thank you very much. Come on, old man, get up.
Ouch. Give a round of applause for Phil Burns, everybody. Talking about that school alderman walking around in a trench coat and his shoes, flashing people, proving that the schools do not have supplies for rulers. All right, tried my best. I don't know. I think smoking weed and entering an eating competition might help. No? I don't know. Phil, I have to ask, with Italy toilets and there was just a hole in the ground, how many guys missed? Oh no. Always miss, they always miss. So I always feel like men's restrooms and toilet seats are like the ultimate karma. Like, I hope everyone, guy who just can't do that one move, I hope one day he gets a bad reaction to Taco Bell. And it's a porta potty filled with nothing but people's tinkle. All right, now our next comedian, and this is probably the worst way to introduce her. She has nothing to do with porta potties, men's restrooms, or used toilet seats. Give a round of applause for Marie Sallert.
We're gonna take this down. Hi, friends. I never really learned stranger danger, so you're all friends right up until you stab me in the alley, and then we're acquaintances. I don't have topical material, partly because it makes me sad, and partly because I think ICE can just sense when an immigrant is making fun of Trump, and they're gonna find me jaywalking, and then deportado. They're taking me out of here. And there was an earthquake in my motherland today, so I'm not going back. So we're gonna stay away from that stuff. Instead, I'm gonna talk about the very small town in the heartland of Ohio that I was raised in. Didn't realize until I got here that I am wearing the t-shirt from the coffee shop there, so that town was called Wyoming. I was so excited that we got a coffee shop that I bought a shirt, and this was last year. We're really growing. We are. We're going to have a CVS any day now. 8,000 people. And I moved there as a swarthy Hispanic 10-year-old to a town full of corn people. If you're from the Midwest, you know who corn people are. They've grown taller than they should, and they're very blonde. Now, it was, what is the best way to describe this town? If you're older than about 40, Mayberry. If you're my age, so you're around 30, let's call it Pleasantville. If you're under that, I don't know what to tell you because you guys found a way to make Archie comics dark and gritty, so there's nothing pure left for you, that's it. And it was a slightly progressive town as Ohio goes, but it was still Ohio. So all that means is that half the population was Jewish, but we still had, abstinence-only sex education because everyone is evangelical when it comes to your children's anatomy. So yes, we're talking about sex ed again. This is the public school version though, so it's going to be a little rougher around the edges. They started when we were young, and I think that the way my school approached this was less let's not talk about it, and more let's scare the living daylights out of the children so they never have sex. So in middle school, we got to see a slideshow of STDs. And not the kind that your frat bros get and get taken care of at student health, but end-stage STDs. So the first version of a man's downstairs I ever saw was just riddled with syphilis, like the kind of syphilis that goes with you all the way to the grave. Which might be why I didn't have sex for a long time after that. Might be because my mom didn't let me shave my legs until high school, but let's blame the sex ed. And then in high school, we got to see a video of a live birth.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, there are some places you don't expect to see a face. And the registrar at my tiny little school was very clever and very abstinence-focused, so she made sure that every dating couple she knew was in the same health class. And once you see that video with your boyfriend sitting next to you, you are going to college a virgin. Luckily, I got there and I discovered Malibu coconut rum, so things changed. Of course, being from this kind of town, there's a really finite window in which you can get out. So it's modern and, well off enough that you're not going to be a pregnant teenager. But if you stay, you are going to be a pregnant 22-year-old who's also getting her real estate license. So it's a real small window. So I had to get out. And I graduated college, wandered around for a little bit, and decided on law school. I say decided. It's not the right word. You know when someone is on Jeopardy and you can tell they don't know the answer, but their finger's itching, they pause, and then they hit the button, and then there's just silence, and they blurt something out? That's what I did. So I yelled law school, and then I went. Actually, it turned out okay. My job is not bad. I am a lawyer downtown. Law school, unfortunately, is not the best time to be dating, so I have found myself a 30-year-old attorney who works 60 hours a week and single. It also doesn't play super well on dates. Now, you'd think it would, because lawyer brings a certain thing into people's minds. So imagine what I thought going into law school my dating life was going to be like. I was going to be sitting there across from some well-dressed man. I was going to say, I'm a lawyer. And in his head, he was going to hear, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. I would tell him all these stories about the killers and or pedophiles and or people that live in LA that I had sent to jail, but some of them got away, and so I would drink my scotch like a grizzled detective, and I would stare into the distance. And it would be too much for him. He would have to have me, so we'd go into the alleyway, and we would make love to the concept of the penal code, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg would be played Ride of the Valkyries, and Sonia Sotomayor would be setting off fireworks, and as we reached the climax of justice, executive producer Dick Wolf would read out the stars. Unfortunately, what happens is I tell them I'm a commercial real estate attorney specializing in construction lending. And then they give me a firm handshake, and then a day later I get a text saying they went back to their ex because they've seen what's out there and it's dull. It's fine, I'm not disappointing my parents. They wanted two things out of me. They wanted me to be successful because they're immigrant parents and that's who they are. And they wanted me to have many, many children because they're immigrant parents and we are here to take over your country. The second one is not going super well. They are Catholic, they want me to be married, but I think at this point they would just take a pregnancy. Like, it would be fine. They don't need to know whose it is. They don't need to know where it came from. They just want it to come out with 4 limbs. which is a risk because I'm getting older. They're interesting people. My dad is a tall British man, and I've tried to explain to him when he says that immigrants aren't discriminated against, that he is the kind of immigrant that Americans love. He's very white, and he sounds very authoritative. My mother is a tiny brown woman, and people aren't so fond of those, especially in Tennessee where they live. And it's made for an interesting mix my whole life. Both my parents actually speak fluent Spanish, and so I think my dad has decided that he is in fact a Hispanic person, which his Santa Claus-like demeanor would, say otherwise. And so I took one of these DNA tests recently, and I had, a fair amount of Iberian, Spanish Peninsula DNA. My dad, being a smart person with a PhD, goes, I wonder what your sister's test would look like. The background to this is that my sister is a tall white woman. And I had to explain to him that even though we look very different and people ask if my sister is adopted, we don't share different DNA. So this just goes to show you that education can only take you so far, and being America's favorite type of immigrant, you can still say stupid things. That's my time. Thank you.
Marie Sallert, everybody! Yeah. I'm glad she emphasized her father was British, and I didn't mispronounce your name by Sayer?
Salter.
Salter. Oh, it's Salter.
It's real British.
Oh, wow, I didn't even see the T. It's okay, I'm Dutch. I'm also from an immigrant family. And the Dutch, historically, we're really bad. Like, we're the ones who came up with the whole scalping of the Native Americans and the whole turn the people against each other in the slave trade, the house versus yard things. But, once you legalize weed and prostitution, people seem to forget that. It's a good thing. I feel for you for moving to Ohio. When I was in the 9th grade, my family moved me to Parker, Colorado. They're part of the 5%, I guess you could say. And they were so white, I felt I had to wear sunglasses to class. It was a culture shock to me. Now, mind you, I'm not acting like I'm all hard or anything, but I was an Anita Baker fan. I knew about Def Jeff, Cool Mo D, still had the hots for LL Cool J. So, like, how you like me now? I don't know. But they loved Vanilla Ice. Oh, God, did they love Vanilla Ice. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm still in therapy over that. So, sorry you failed at your lawyer thing. Thankfully, you're not trying to be Ally McBeal. Alright, did I just steal someone's joke? Okay. We're gonna go ahead and keep a round of applause again for Marie Salter, everybody. There's been actually a couple talks about having kids, and she was scared not to have children and everything, and I had to have this sex talk with my brother. I'm 11 years older than him, and he laughed when I had him put a condom on a banana. He laughed about all these other things, and then I work in payroll, so then I started showing him child support garnishments. He got quiet, and I'm still not an uncle. Now, our next comedian coming to the stage, I don't know if he's an uncle, but he did write down so I could pronounce his name correctly. Give a round of applause for Andrew Tavin.
Yeah. Oh boy. I actually will be an uncle next month for the first time.
Congratulations.
So that's cool. Yeah, thank you. I did not do any of it, but that's okay. So I think that there are two kinds of people in this world. People who cried every day at rock climbing camp, and people who aren't me. Oh sure, laugh while you can. But if we were on a plane that crashed in the mountains, only one of us is going to know how to cry himself to death. I think it's weird that if you dip your entire body, including your penis, into a swimming pool, everyone's fine with it. But if you just dip your penis into the swimming pool, people get all weird. right? It's like, oh, it's better that I'm also putting my butt in there? That doesn't make any sense. Right? I don't get that at all. Anyone ever see that show that was on MTV, My Super Sweet 16? Yeah, we love it. But for those of you who don't know, that show, My Super Sweet 16, it was this show where these 16-year-old girls act like jerks even though they've been given a very nice party. Yeah.
Yes.
Right? I had a friend who was like, oh no, they just edited it to make them look like jerks.
No.
Right? Yeah, it's like, well, they still do have said those jerky things. What was it, just like, this cake isn't big enough to feed all the orphans I invited! Or just like, you got me the wrong car, assuming we want an environment for our grandchildren. And yet no one's ever asked me my ideas for reality shows, so I'm just going to tell you. Here we go. Reality show idea number 1 is for Logo, the lesbian and gay channel. It's called America's Next Top Bottom. Reality show idea number 2 is called Actual Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's where you watch a bunch of real Atlanta housewives watch Real Housewives of New York. And my final reality show idea is just 4 plastic surgeons who hate each other all work on the same celebrity's face.
Oh.
Yeah. Cutting satire. Okay.
Oh.
Here we go. I got a new character I'm working on. You ready?
Yes.
All right, great. So this is this character. This is a civil engineer explaining why he can't go back to his old job. Okay. Civil engineer explaining why he can't go back to his old job. Just burned too many bridges. And I'm back. Speaking of engineers, how are we feeling about Mr. Elon Musk these days? Yeah? Yeah? You know what? I think Elon Musk is like the Willy Wonka of technology. Because I could imagine a bunch of kids dying in his factory. Right? Seems valid. Speaking of corporations getting in on stuff, there was this ad that, I'll admit it made me cry. AT&T put out. They put out this ad for Pride Month where these queer teens were coming out to their parents on speakerphone. They were like, Mom, Dad, I just need you to know I'm gay. And the parents were like, that's okay, we love you anyway. And then it said AT&T for the calls that matter. And it's like, yeah, but AT&T didn't have any control over how that call would go. Right? Well, if the parents were just like, I'm going to have to call you back on Verizon, the network for bigots. Can you hear me now? You're going to hell. Right? That wouldn't be good. Would not be fun for anyone. You guys like that movie Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark? Yeah, original Indy. There's that, you know that scene in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark where that guy like swings the sword around all fancy and Indiana Jones just shoots him?
Yes.
Yeah, so here's a fun trivia fact. They were actually supposed to have a big, elaborate sword fight. You know this, but Harrison Ford had a stomach ache that day, so instead he just pulled out a gun and shot that guy for real. Yeah. Right? It's pretty messed up, but they were filming abroad. They weren't going to arrest Americans doing a movie. It's pretty messed up, you know. You knew about it, but... I saw this internet comment where this guy was kind of going off on women. I know, it's tough to believe, but stick with me for a second. This guy was going off on women. He was going, American women, I hate them. They're ugly and they're fat and they're mean. That's why I married a Ukrainian woman. And then this other guy responded to him and said, you're so right. My wife is also Ukrainian. And it's like, okay, we get it. You guys can afford wives. Right? Some of us got debt. We can't just be buying a wife. We gotta meet someone. We have to get personality. It's not so easy for everybody. But as far as I'm concerned, the internet has accomplished its purpose. Because I saw a video clip of Alfred Molina dressed up as Dr. Octopus in between takes of the original Spider-Man 2 practicing for his upcoming role in Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway by singing If I Was a Rich Man while assistants made the tentacle snap. And I cannot tell you what I would give to show up to Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway and have the announcer come on and say, "Oh, we apologize, but the role of Tevye, normally played by Alfred Molina, will instead be played by Alfred Molina with giant killer robot arms." I feel like a couple of you did not get how awesome this is. He could hold so many fiddles, right? And I am worried that someone will come up to me after the show and say, because I just implied Tevye was the fiddler, so I'm worried someone's going to come up, they're going to be like, "Oh, the fiddler is an anonymous personification of hundreds of years of Jewish tradition balancing on the roof of encouraging European modernism, right?" And it's like, yeah, I know that. Look at me. I look like if that musical had a face. And that face was made out of Jews. But anyway, we're talking movies, we're having fun. You guys see that movie AI, Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg? Yeah. So AI, at one point, jumps. This movie came out in 2001. At one point, it jumps 2,000 years in the future. The oceans have flooded the world and then frozen over. The only building that you see left standing above this new ice world is the Twin Towers. And I'd like to imagine the last human on their deathbed, knowing this was the end, just saying, we had a good run. We made incredible art. We loved like no one had ever before. And we never once had to take off our shoes on a flight. I've been Andrew Tavin. Enjoy the rest of your show!
Andrew Tavin, everybody. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
Yes. So someone bought me a shot, so I'm going to share it with you. I could do my Dr. Seuss rhyme. It's kind of R-rated. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
You want to hear it? I need some applause. You guys, all right. I sucked him in the bar. I sucked him in the car. I sucked him on the road, and he shot his load. I sucked him in the bed, and he enjoyed the head. I swallowed the juice, and now I'm labeled loose. Cheers! Don't forget about Jason behind the bar here at Shakers, 3160 North Clark. We've got $3 domestic bottles, $4 well drinks, and that fireball shot that I took so well. That's $4, and so is Jaeger. Yay!
Yeah.
Now, we're living in trying times, and I feel bad because I was asked at work to caption a photo, to put a caption, and it was President Trump and his wife Melania, the First Lady, and I captioned it "Trophy Wife and Russian Whore." So we're going to bring up our next comedian who has nothing to do with either of those two people. Give a round of applause for Sean Schnellhammer.
Yeah! Oh man, Shakers, how you doing? Oh my goodness, yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be here. I like coming back to this bar. I don't know if you've been here before, but it used to be like painted in the same like lime green blue motif, and that was like fun. I was like, this is cool. I like this because now I'm not doing comedy in a bar that should be off of Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Now I'm doing comedy in the place that looks like the end of Twin Peaks. That's fun. It's good. Thank you. Good. It's good. So I'm Sean. I look like Simon from Alvin and the Chipmunks decided to quit the band in this sort of less popular band. That's good. I like that. I like this shirt that I'm wearing right now. I like this shirt a lot. I think it kind of fits in with the Alvin and the Chipmunks motif. Though someone told me, like, Sean, you look like Ace Ventura, pet molester, and I was like, that's apt. I was like, dude, here's my card. What's up? Just turned 30 recently. It's a fun age. It's a fun age to be because when you're 30, you see how different your life has gone from everyone else that you went to college with. They are all my friends from college are they're all married or engaged to be married, and I'm still crying after sex with my ex-girlfriend. That's my love life right now. And I shouldn't be crying. I'm so hung up on this girl. We broke up almost 2 years ago, and I shouldn't be hung up on her. It was a good relationship because the last argument we had was who's hotter, Tim Allen or Ray Romano. That's not a good sign at all. That's horrible. She's like, I think Tim Allen is hotter. And I was like, I think it is your roommate, but we can agree to disagree. It's fine. You know? She cheated on me too. It doesn't bother me that she cheated on me. What bothers me is who she cheated on me with. It was a coworker, right? That's always bad. But it was a coworker that everyone thought was like really cute and charming. I never saw it, and I asked someone else why. Like everyone loved this guy so much, and they were like, the response I got was, "Well, he's foreign, you know. He's a foreigner. Women love a foreign guy." I was like, "Cool. He's from Winnipeg. That's barely foreign. Winnipeg's not even foreign. That's just Winnipeg is just a city in Canada that it doesn't know it should be in North Dakota. That is what Winnipeg is, you know." I've been to Winnipeg before, and when you get there, you get to the airport, it's like, welcome to Winnipeg. You have a passport, you can still leave. Like, this... It's fine, though. It's fine. The other thing about my friends that are 30, you know, like, they don't really go out as much as we do, like, as I do. Like, they go out, you know, they might go out, they might say, like, they'll talk about, like, how they're having, like, 3 or 4 beers and going to call it a night. I'm like, that's good for you. Like, I'm on day 5 in a row, staying up till 4 a.m., and I just learned that cocaine makes me sleepy, you know? That's not how that drug should work at all. Like, I've seen movies, you know? I've done cocaine twice in my life. Both times, all that happened was my nose got numb and I went to bed 10 minutes later. Like, my body is treating cocaine like NyQuil, you know? It's NyQuil without the cool dreams. That is what my body treats cocaine as. And I think, I don't know what it is, but I have a theory. I think maybe my body's just too intense for cocaine. I think maybe what happens is that cocaine just shows up into my system and it is just like, all right, we're cocaine, we're here to party. Wait, hold on, have you seen the guy's haircut? Like, look at the glasses. Why is he talking to that girl so weird? Why does he keep looking at his phone? He's wearing a wire. I think he's a narc. We gotta go right now. You know? Friends, they get hobbies like to build, like, furniture now, all of a sudden. Like, something happens when they get married, they love building furniture, and they'll post about, like, how, like, their chair's coming along. They're like, look at how my chair's coming along. They'll put that on Facebook. And I'm like, good for that chair. Like, look at these mozzarella sticks I made in the microwave. The box said you can only do it in a conventional oven, so suck on that, TGI Fridays. I called your bluff. I put that on Facebook, and more people like that than wish me happy birthday on Facebook. Like, that's true. My mom did a little heart react. My stepdad was just like, yeah, I didn't know. Good for you, man. I didn't know. It's good to see that you're not letting the autism hold you back, you know? That's what he said, you know? So I got a really complicated relationship with my stepdad. My whole stepfamily in general. You know, like, I really don't really have a good relationship with my stepfamily. My stepsister got married a few weeks ago. You know? That's good, right? She got married a few weeks ago to the guy I thought she'd been married to for the last 5 years. Like, that's how I know I'm not very close with my stepfamily, like, at all. And I think that's cool. You know, I think stepfamilies are just like normal families, but you don't have to love them after 18 if you don't want to. You know? I think that's the rule, right? This little life hack for you. You know? The whole time I was like, man, my stepdad's kind of mean, but he did kiss my mom in church in front of a bunch of people, so I guess I love you. Then I turned 18, and they're like, you can stop buying him presents and start buying you cigarettes. I was like, this is great. This is amazing. I do have a weird relationship with my stepdad. My stepdad would, like, he'd make fun of me. He'd bully me all the time. He'd call me a nerd for liking airplanes. And then he would go to his favorite hobby, which was stamp collecting. That can't happen. That shouldn't be allowed. Like, nerd. You're like these loud metal machines that go up in the sky and do loop-de-loops. You nerd. Like, I'm gonna go catalog little things in a book. Alright, we got one stamp collecting person. Or someone who knows what stamp collecting is in the audience. That's fun. It's weird being bullied for having autism by someone who also clearly has autism. That's a very weird thing. I was diagnosed with mild form of Asperger's when I was a kid. And people really don't understand it. They're asking me, like, Sean, how do you describe Asperger's? I was like, well, basically it's like knowing every useless fact about the space program and then not knowing what to do with my hands at a party. That's Asperger's for you, to the T. Asperger's for me is essentially I'm bad at making friends, you know? So, like, I'm totally comfortable with having my friend Willie write dicks on my forearm because, like, I don't know how to make friends, but then I still get anxiety from mayonnaise. Like, that's Asperger's. You know, it's weird. One time after a show, someone came up to me and they're like, hey, do you know this person? Because they have Asperger's too. And I was like, yeah, dude, we are not a social club. Like, that's not how it works at all. Like, if you knew anything about Asperger's, you know that meeting people, not our strong suit, you know? That's not how it works. So do I know that person because they have Asperger's? She was like, who do you think we were? Like professional society that have like we paid dues to or something? You know, paid dues to, and then in return we get some stickers in like a monthly magazine with articles like itchy shirts. Why is it all of them? You know, stuff in the center. Is it in the center enough? Direct eye contact. How much is too much? How little is too little? The answer will scare you on page 68. It's weird. I got denied relations with a lady through the Asperger's. I didn't know that was a thing that could happen. I was at a bar, writing notes down in my notebook, you know, like a serious comedian, and a girl comes up to me and she's like, I want to talk to you because you look mysterious. I was like, that is a very backhanded compliment because the only people who look mysterious besides comedians are every single serial killer and every CBS crime drama. But things are going well, right? We're talking about 30 minutes into it. And then I dropped a little Asperger nugget out there. It's a little fun little thing. Just throwing it out there. She's like, oh, I can't go home with you. You have Asperger's. And I was just like, it's not contagious. You'll be fine. She's like, no, you don't understand. Like, my dad was diagnosed with it. I was diagnosed with it, too. I was like, you're right. I don't understand. Like, what's going to happen? Like, are you worried that we're going to, like, make a baby that, like, strains too much? Like, he get a job as a conductor. That's a union gig. That's totally fine. Like, what, we're going to have sex and create the autism similarity? No, everything's, like, too claustrophobic and nothing's the pattern, you know? Very different from the other girl one time. She was like, you don't have Asperger's, you're just saying that to be cool, aren't you? I was like, yep, you caught me. I try to impress all of my dates by lying about being mildly retarded. Like, that's, how'd you see right through that? I was like, also, where are you from where Asperger's is a cool thing? Because she was from Canada, so I was like, please don't say it's Winnipeg, you know? You know, but I was like, I want to move there. I want to move to the city where, like I hated high school, right? Like most people, but like I would redo all 4 years of high school if like they're like you go there, they're in orientation, like, hey, do you know the kid that does nothing but talk about the band Sonic Youth during gym class and then screams when you touch him? He's our prom king. He's prom king. He knows every locker combination. He's the coolest kid at all. He doesn't get shoved in his lockers at all. He can bust his way out, you know? Cool. All right, guys. My name is Sean Schnellhammer. Get over here. Let's start with bombs, everybody. Shake it.
Sean Schnellhammer, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Because he's a cool thing walking with a kitty. Don't you know you're sure looking pretty? That was Sonic Youth, for those who don't know. And that was actually like their big hit. Like, oh. It's okay, my inner Kim Gordon isn't that good. We're gonna keep it going. We're bringing up our next comedian. Give a round of applause for Alan Ford!
Thank you. Let me get some energy, man.
Yeah, buddy!
Me, I thought I was the only black person in here. I'm glad I'm not. Brother, thank you for showing up. Feels really good, man. Feels really good. I'm glad to be in this church. This is what I always went to church Sundays. Like, what would my mom's church look like without the pews? That answer has been answered. This is very nice. You ever had somebody call you and say something stupid to you? I have a buddy. He called me and said, hey man, I just got done watching Roots and I couldn't be a slave. And I thought to myself, who could? Who just sits there and be like, whips and chains? I can do that. That seems easy, man. Fair warning, let you guys know about my comedy. I'm terrible at transitions, so I might talk about one thing and go right to the next. Just stay with it. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Good. How come when female cats have kittens, the dad is never around?
Oh.
Yeah, man. I think male cats are typically the hood for black. Yep, you feel me on that, see? You'll get my humor up here because, you know, we look That's all I can say. Man, I have a crazy family. We all have crazy family members, right?
Yes.
I say one of the craziest people is my uncle. Who's an alcoholic. My drunk uncle once told me, if you're going to buy or sell drugs, you keep it in the family. So my aunt's been my weed guy for like 5 years right now. She sells weed and candy. If you think the candy is cocaine, you're correct about that. I ain't gonna tell you where she lived though. Southside Chicago. Excuse me. That's where she lives. But when I go to her house, sometimes, not all the time, because she has one of those houses that look nice on the outside but terrible on the inside. Ever been one of those? Like her house on the outside looks nice, but on the inside looks just like Gary, Indiana. If you don't know what Gary, Indiana looks like, picture Gotham City without the skyscrapers. That is what Gary, Indiana looks like. Another crazy person is my mom. My mom is super religious. She likes to throw out the phrase WWJD for no reason at all. Just throws it out there. One day when I moved back from Macomb, Illinois, and if you've never been to Macomb, Illinois, very racist, and the meth capital of Illinois too. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, hey, whoa, you got a little bit too excited for that. But yeah, I moved back. I said, Mom, I'll pay all the bills. All you gotta do is pay the water bill. It's $50, cheapest bill in the house. 3 months go by, their bill went from $50 to $150. I texted my mom, I was like, Mom, you didn't pay the water bill, what you doing? And I sent the poop emoji because it's a very crappy situation to be in, right? And she texted me back, I'm your mother, don't talk to me like that, WWJD. Jesus will pay the damn water bill. That's what he would have did. It was awful. Like me and my family, since we have no water in the bathroom, we could use the bathroom, we had to take field trips to McDonald's. We were regular customers at McDonald's just to use the bathroom. It was all. That's beside the point. Anybody hate a BJ in here? You do? I hate a boring job too, they're the worst. I mean, I had this siding job one time. I used to work at this cracker factory. Not one white person worked there. It was like, well, these blacks and Hispanics. Do it here. I mean, the job I have now is decent. I'm a dishwasher. I work at, have you guys heard of JC's Deli? No?
Yes.
Yes, I have. I work there, man. I'm a dishwasher there. The place is crazy because it's a Jewish deli, a lot of Mexicans. It's like, what is going on here? I don't know. How's this work? This is terrible. It makes no sense to me. But if you tell a Hispanic, why don't you work at Taco Bell? They want to swing on you. I'm like, swing means punching. I had the white people here. You know, you gotta clear it up. Swinging means punching. You want to throw a punch at you. Like, I don't understand it. Because apparently to them, the only people that work at Taco Bell are black dudes with dreads who smoke a lot of weed. Which is true, because, you ever been to Taco Bell? Is there one even up here? I'm from the south side. It is? I've never seen one. I'm going to have to look at it. But yeah, I worked there and I learned that Hispanics have very dirty humor. Like one day one of them came to me, he's like, Alan, you like chorizo? I love chorizo. Then he laughed and just ran away. Apparently me saying Mexican sausage was so funny to him. And now they call me Mr. Chorizo at work. And it's not the best thing. So now I'm at work being the guy making up his own nickname. It's like, hey, don't call me Mr. Chorizo. Call me El Pollo Diablo. Since it sounds like a spaghetti western name, I put a whip in it. So now they call me El Pollo Diablo Chorizo at work. Awful. And I think my job thinks I'm ugly too. Because here's where I started out. I started out running the food. Then they put me on the line. Now I'm in the back washing dishes where nobody can see me. Just like, you're good looking. You're getting ugly. Just get your ugly butt to the back. We don't need people to see you anymore. It's like terrible. And I hate telling people I'm a dishwasher. Because I have friends who are like lawyers and business people and all this stuff. It's not to like professionalize my thing. It's like a custodian janitor thing for me. People ask, hey Alan, what you do? Oh, I'm the head of the dish department at Jason's Deli. I make sure they're clean and push right through. Almost quit the other day. I thought to myself, WWJD. So I stopped and asked, hey Jesus, would you quit this job? What's going on with that, man? Watch the news a lot. You guys watch the news in here? You should. You should watch the news. You should know who our president is. Watch the news and Twitter. That's what you need to keep up. But I saw in the news that somebody tried to rob a bra factory. But it was unsuccessful because he kept running the booby traps. I also saw in the news that a white woman choked and died drinking orange juice. Did millennials not know that OJ and white women don't mix at all? It's awful. I also saw in the news that a horse ran into a bar and trashed the whole bar, and everybody giving the bartender crap for shooting a horse. Ask you, what would you do if Wendy Williams ran into your bar and started trashing? You got that. That's for me and you. We got that right there. How you doing? Right there. Yeah. Wendy Williams is on TV. She talks trash about everybody else. So this joke is okay. I also saw in the news that they opened a Whole Food up in Inglewood. Have you guys ever been to Inglewood? Of course not. Don't need to answer that. So they opened a Whole Food up in Inglewood. Now I can finally figure out what gluten-free sushi sweets taste like. Not maybe weed smokers. I don't smoke with everybody. I smoked with my cousin one time. He gave me, said, "Hey dog, you should hit this, man. It's called repeat." I'm like, "Why you call it that?" He looked me dead in my face. "Hey man, you should hit this stuff, dog. It's called repeat." Why you say that? We did that for 10 minutes. We was in McDonald's. Yes, how can I help you today? "Hey man, you should hit this. It's called repeat." Why you say that? I got some laughs. My name's Alan. You great. Thank
you. Alan Ford, everybody, give him a round of applause. Yes. A couple years ago, I actually did a show in Inglewood off of 75th Street. And I did not know how bad that neighborhood was until a female black comedian I was working with asked me to walk her to her car, and she had parked right across the street from the front door. Like, her car was right there. She had me walk her to her, and then she's like, "I'll watch you as you run back into the entrance." Inglewood, everybody. Round of applause, yes. So I can't do meth. You mentioned the meth capitals. Like, I can't do meth. I'm too vain. Like, a side effect of meth is like bad skin. And my nickname in high school was Freddy Krueger. And like, another side effect of meth is that you lose your teeth. And I have a gap in my front teeth. There's already certain men that won't date me. I do have a note here to talk about the time I sang Fire and Desire by Rick James and Tina Marie at a funeral. Because I actually have two people that might know what this joke leads to. Where I sang the Tina Marie part. For those of you who don't know, Fire and Desire is a 7-minute song. Tina Marie shows up at the 3 minutes 40-second mark, howling, and she doesn't stop until the song ends. I tried to stretch my Madonna vocals to Tina Marie. Now, mind you, it did better than the Madonna tribute to Aretha at the MTV VMAs. And Chevy Debbie, a fellow comedian, commented when I was singing, "Will someone please put these dogs out of their misery?" Alright, I don't know where I was going with that. Did anyone actually watch the VMAs? Like, Jennifer Lopez is now like a leading star amongst like progressive talent. Our next comedian coming to the stage traveled from the burbs. Gives a round of applause for James McKinley!
Hello, Chicago!
Hi!
AKA half barely the blackest city on the planet. The suburbs. I live in Waukegan, and Waukegan is like Chicago, but with Mexicans. I call it south of the border of Illinois, but it's not literally south of the border. It's just a lot of Mexicans. And it's like I live in the most ghettoish part, which is a low-income building across the street from a police station. So that combination feels kind of creepy. I mean, man, driving here sucks so much because the taxes creep up on me. I'm like at Lake County, basically like Six Flags, and then right when I go over to county, everything skyrockets so freaking hard. I feel so financially violated, I'm the one yelling me too. It's sad. I mean, my wallet is like the victim. I mean, my wallet could be a guest character in Law & Order SVU. Don't know. Oh my god, he took 10s and 20s out of me and he kept sliding my credit card. I feel so isolated. Oh yeah, by the way, I just about 2 weeks ago I got back from Mississippi. My god. It was okay, but my goodness, I have never felt so hot in my life. I'm talking about, like, it was so hot, I felt like I was in an episode of Roots. I'm talking about Roots hot. I'm talking about Kunta Kinte hot. I'm trying to figure out where all the cotton is at. Is that hot? The cotton's like, nah, I'm staying in for the summer. I'll grow next winter. I mean, Jesus, man. I mean, I thought I was going to find some creatures, but the creatures retired. I went to a campsite with my parents, like, just to wait for a family reunion, and then the campsite had a water park. You can't call it a water park if there's two big-ass slides. That's not a water park. That's just pretty much two slides in a big old backyard. And even the water park was closed because apparently the lake kind of shriveled down. So shriveled down that Joe Pesci's ego's non-existent. My goodness. All this agenda in this book I have to talk about because I feel like a disappointment. I mean, that's my career right now. I'm a family disappointment. I'm like literally the oldest guy in my family and also the tallest guy. And I'm trying to figure out how is being tall equal to my own disappointment level. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, compared to my family, I'm literally like right here, this tall. My parents are just right here. I can't actually measure my sense of humor right now, but let me see my agenda. Just wanted to let you guys know, let me see my agenda right here. Oh, word of advice. Do not get a pet monkey if you're a black person. Things don't happen as well as you think. Just because Michael Jackson had a monkey doesn't mean our black behinds have to have one. Because, trust me, the way the country is so far ever since Trump got into office, people are going to show the true colors. Especially if you have an exotic animal like a freaking monkey. I mean, I was holding one, like, just like at one of those conventions, they had exotic animals. I'm like, hey, cool. All of a sudden, some D-bag walks by like, hey, man, look like you got a family reunion, boy. I'm like, the hell, man? I've never been so discouraged in my life. That's like the most discouraging experience. It's like, I'm sitting there going, if I get rich, I'm going to get a pet monkey. Now I'm going back, if I get rich, I'm going to get a chihuahua. Screw it. Get it, screw it. I mean, we can't have anything without being judged these days. I mean, I can't eat a bucket of chicken without getting stereotyped. I can't eat anything without, like, stereotypes connected to it, man. I can't even eat a cookie without being mistaken for some fruitcake. I don't get it! I can't eat food without getting stereotyped. It's not fair. But you know what makes me mad, though? Every single time I watch a commercial, why does it always appeal to the opposite sex? For example, every time any commercial that has to do with cookies and baking is always a lady, and it always has to be so intimate. It's like, it could be a freaking chocolate bar commercial, and it's everything in the background, it's like a silky white pillow, or a silky white curtain, and the girl's like, oh yes, do you like the taste that's everlasting? And she's sitting down there having that orgasmic taste of a piece of chocolate. Try Dub. Okay, I get it. But yeah, when it comes to meat and real food, it's all manly stuff. Like, yeah, I got some meat, boy. Woo! Got some jerky right here with a steak burger. I'm manly. Look at my man beard. Peach meat, the meat that's too sweet to beat your meat. Something like that, man. That's like, but yet the only commercials that are gender neutral are literally candy commercials. Oh, Skittles and M&Ms. Oh, don't worry, we're neutral here. Fist bump. Kind of lame, man. But I'm grateful we don't have commercials about watermelon. Man, we'd be mad as hell, though. It's like Tyrone's watermelon. Taste the stereotype. Now for Black History Month, get 2 for the price of 1. Tyrone likes it. No, I don't. Oh yes, how many of you guys actually own a cat? I own 2. I want to fight them so badly every time I go home. One has the habit of just waking me up right when I'm about to go to sleep. She jumps on my chest, trying to find a spot to rip out my intestines. And the other one is sitting there, plotting my demise by trying to trick me with her hairballs. I'm trying to figure out how does she pull a MacGyver with her own, balls of hair spitting out at me. You know what's sad, though? I live in a low-income building. I mean, I don't get that much respect from the cats. I'm the one paying the cats rent. That sucks, dude. That's the worst. And I'm a bus driver. I drive in the most suburban area. It's like an episode of Get Out. Every time I'm on a bus, it's like a Get Out kind of reference. It's like, dude, I need to get out of this job. Let's see. Ever taste food so good it pissed you off? You just want to fight the waiter. It's like, oh my god, this pizza's so good. I'll kill you! I'm afraid to kill you! I won't, bro. It's just a bird. I'll stab you! It's like, whoa, man, what happened? Oh, I like the barbecue sauce! Before I go, though, there's two things I want to rant about before I leave. One, I hate reality shows with a passion. I hate reality shows. Every single time a reality show pops up, it's always something scripted. And now they have the Jersey Shore people back. I don't get why they're not gone. I want Survivor to stop airing. Seriously, that's the stupidest played out show. You know why? Because for Survivor, it's not real enough. It's just a bunch of grown folks playing on playground equipment on a freaking exotic island. Let me take over Survivor, I swear. I would put a sniper on Survivor so quickly. Red dot, you're voted off. Enough said. By the time the intro's done for this first season, there'll be 3 more people left. Dude. And also, if I can do something for Hollywood, I'll make a horror film. I like werewolf movies, man. If I can make my own werewolf movie, it'd be based out here in Chicago. It's in Boys Town. It'd be like some guy walking down the street. He runs into another guy's like, excuse me? Oh, you should watch where you're going. Boom, you slap. Like, oh, dude, not cool, man. What the hell, man? You have to slap me like that. Bro, man, that guy's not playing. Let's get out of here. And like 4 hours later, the guy's trying to sleep. He's like, oh, God! What's happening? No! Guys! Let's get busy! No, don't! Please, don't style my hair! No! Oh my god! What happened? He styled his hair, man! No! Get away from me! I don't want a manicure! Come on, we gotta get the government! But we gotta do it! How do we stop him? He's bulletproof, man! Oh god! We need one way to stop him. We need to meet the great wizard San Francisco. He has a cure. We need the golden hair gel, and we need to recite RuPaul's anthem. Coming soon to theaters. Get away from me! The Weird Game. My name is James McKinley. Thank you, guys.
Yay! James McKinley, everybody, give him a round of applause. I've seen you do that joke a couple times. I keep waiting for a nip slip. Never happens. Instead of it follows, or I guess it would be called it spreads. I have 2 cats. I have a cat named Maki and a cat named Satin. And Satin's really angry and has a horrible disposition. And every morning she digs into my sock drawers and pulls out what becomes the socks I'm going to wear that day. Well, one day I felt like I am not going to let this cat tell me what to do. And I reached into the sock drawer and I pulled out some socks and I went to put them on. I unrolled them and they didn't match. I had to grab the pair of socks she pulled out. You won today, Satin. You won today. No one has religion anymore. We're going to bring up our next comedian. He's been a guest on my radio show, and he's also fresh from the asylum. Give a round of applause for Brian Johnson.
I think last month was my 2-year anniversary, the last time I was in the psych ward, though. But a lot of Chicago comics have been getting on TV lately, like Chris Red, Megan Gailey, Lisa Tiger. I have a big TV appearance of my own coming up. You heard it here first. I'm going to be on Cops! Just wish my mom were proud of me of that. James mentioned how he hates reality TV. I remember the most awkward dream I ever had. Anyone watch the Queer Eye reboot yet? Watch it? Well, 10 years ago, when it was Queer Eye for the Straight Guy on Bravo, I had a dream I was on the show, and the guys made me wear lingerie. No, wait, that was a good drain. Now, you hear about that military parade Donald Trump put on, and it got canceled? Hear about that? You remember the good old days when presidents needed to improve their approval ratings and just stage terror attacks? My comedy career isn't going so good, so I'm trying to get into other artistic branches. So this is a new musical I'm writing. It's called Alex Jones, the musical. I'm Alex Jones, I'm Alex Jones, I'm Alex Jones, I'm Alex Jones. I support Trump, I support Trump, I support Trump, I support Trump. I believe in lizard people, if I was Muslim. I wear tinfoil hats. Sandy Hook never happened. Sandy Hook never happened. Gotta work on that one. I'm homophobic. People wonder what my sexual orientation is. I'm mostly straight, like a 1 or 2 on the Kinsey scale. I know when a guy's good looking, but I only date women because I don't want all the drama that goes with having a boyfriend. Although I did possibly lose my virginity to a transgender woman, but I'll never know for sure if she was transgender or not. But I wonder, if I get famous and die, will Westboro Baptist Church protest at my funeral? I remember when the founder of Westboro Baptist Church, Michael Phelps, died, and everyone was saying we should protest at Michael Phelps' funeral, and Michael Phelps didn't have a funeral. Oops, I said Michael Phelps, I meant Fred Phelps. They said we should protest at Fred Phelps' funeral, and Fred Phelps didn't have a funeral. But you know what? Yeah, if he did, I wouldn't protest at it. I would have a barbecue wet t-shirt contest and a gay pride parade there. But I'll give Westboro Baptist Church credit for one thing. How many liberals do we have here? Any conservatives? Good. As divided as America is right now across party lines, Westboro Baptist Church is domestic enemy. We can all agree on. I used to work at Sam's Club giving out the free samples. We had some weird Walmart customers, some homophobic Walmart customers. One day one of my coworkers was doing Oreos, and they had a banner you could sign for the troops of the 4th of July. And this was just after Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. And a customer asked her, "Is this going to go to the gay soldiers?" So then ever since that person said that to my coworker, every time I did a sausage chap, I said, "Try these new sausage links. Vroom, vroom, the party starter." I had a falling out with my best friend of 20 years. He became a born-again Christian. I became more hippie spiritual. So in other words, he joined the Brotherhood of Mutants. I joined the X-Men. And he goes on really homophobic rants on Facebook. He's part of all these hate groups. Chick-fil-A, Ted Cruz, Stan with Phil Robertson. He talks about the whole gay agenda, how there's a conspiracy by the LGBT community to create more gay people. And you know what? I hope there is. That'd be freaking awesome. If there are more gay men out there and more lesbians, short, hairy, bald guys like me will get a lot more women. So I support the gay agenda. It was revealed before the election that Donald Trump found Paris Hilton attractive when she was 12. I don't know which is more disgusting. The fact that Donald Trump found a 12-year-old attractive, or the fact that he found Paris Hilton attractive. Some say that Donald Trump is having an affair with Kellyanne Conway. Now I hate Trump, but I don't think that's true. This is why. Kellyanne Conway is 20 years younger than the president, and that's way too old for him. I'm just curious. Since a black president got replaced with an orange president, does that mean orange is the new black? I was homeless 6 months after 9/11. I got kicked out of the homeless shelter in Kenosha, and I walked from Kenosha to Antioch where my car was. I was at my friend's house. This was 6 months after 9/11, and I'm on the payphone back when we had payphones with my friend, and I'm on the phone with him. I turn around, there's 4 cop cars behind me. And what happened earlier that day is I was out in the sun for a while, and my skin turned brown, and I was wearing a black shirt which I wrapped around my head so I looked like a suicide bomber. So someone called the cops on me. So moral of the story: if you're gonna be Middle Eastern or look Middle Eastern, don't go to my hometown of Antioch, Illinois, because there, if it's not white, it ain't right.
No. Oh God.
Let's see. I'm partially bipolar, partially autistic. I have PTSD. There are a lot of things that make me angry. But nothing pisses me off more than when kids wearing Abercrombie and Fitch act like they're in a gang. I got banned from the only open mic in Lake County because the host said I wasn't funny enough to do it. Now, if your only career accomplishment is you want some stupid mic that no one goes to, I don't think you should act like you're Jerry Seinfeld. But even if you are Jerry Seinfeld, I don't think you should act like you're Jerry Seinfeld. Alright, I covered, let's see, covered all the important pieces. I'm just gonna close with this. One of my favorite movies of all time is Back to the Future Part 2. As we all know, it's only 1 year off with the Cubs winning the World Series. But there are other things Back to the Future Part 2 got right. 3D films have taken over, the Florida Marlins changing into Miami Marlins, and Michael J. Fox has trouble playing guitar. Bye.
Yeah! Brian Johnson, everybody, give him a round of applause. Are we ready for our final comedian? Have we had fun tonight? Yes. Have we left our house and shown up someplace that was not our dwelling?
Yes!
Yes, we did it! We also are joined by, I think it's the Annoyance Theater in the back, earning their name, aren't they? Annoyance or Playhouse? Which theater are they, Jason? Playground. They're the Playground Theater. I haven't been there since the Blue Man Group. Anyone seen the Blue Man Group? No? I tried to pass for a Blue Man Group, but that's because people just want me to shut up. Alright, are we ready for our final comedian? I have known this woman since she did my open mic at Hoghead McDonough's off of Fullerton and Ashland. They had a police car door on display, full of bullet holes. They don't call police, they shoot at them. Somehow that biker bar felt I represented them when it came to stand-up comedy. When I met her, she was pregnant, she was having issues, and she referred to some woman as a syphilitic whore. She's working her way on leaving the country. Give a round of applause for Ruth Ruhnke!
Has anyone ever tried killing themselves just to get out of housework and maybe some peace and quiet?
Yes.
So I have these roommates and they're just horrible. One of them uses my frying pan, leaves all the shit in the frying pan on the stove for me to clean up later. And eventually, I get to it, clean up the pan, only to have him make that pan dirty again. It pisses me off. He doesn't do laundry. He doesn't pay any of the bills. I called Child and Family Services, though, and they told me I can't legally evict my 4-year-old. So, I have been in Canada for the last 2 years. I used to live here though. I got a divorce and immediately, like the week of my finalization of divorce, I drove up to Canada, found a relatively good-looking guy, got knocked up, and I was hoping that that would be my anchor baby and my way out of working forever and paying rent forever. And it turns out that you actually have to go through a process of immigration, and having a Canadian child is not the way. It is not the way. Had I known that, I still wouldn't have gotten a divorce because this guy actually, he's good. He's kind of a scumbag like me. The two of us love each other. But unfortunately, the Canadian government has told me I am not legally allowed to see him for a year.
Oh.
It could be all the meth I was trying to smuggle into my car. You know what happens when you drive up to the border with, like, you know, your whole entire trunk filled with meth and Kinder Surprise eggs? They just... It's slap you on the hand and say, you know, you really need to package that with like better branding. Because they like drugs in Canada. There's lots and lots of drugs in Canada. I was hoping that would have been funnier. I'm riffing at this point because it's just an intimate little, group of people. Hi, how are you doing? How are your day jobs? We do have a day job. Do you have a day job? Yeah. So, do you like it? Yeah. That's cool. And I bet you make a lot more money than you do during stand-up comedy. I've made like a couple of bucks in stand-up comedy. You know what? Like, the payoff for me is never paying rent again. Ever. Because my excuse is, I do this for a living. Please help me. And, I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I get a lot of free stuff. These shoes cost me $1. I haven't shaved my legs in a while. Because you save a lot of money by not shaving your legs. And I just don't feel like doing it anymore because I'm not going to have sex for a year. My boyfriend's in Canada, and I thought about becoming a hoe. I did. I thought about turning my sexuality into a money-making operation. I was bored one day, and I called one of these hoe agencies. And you know what they told me? I have to lose weight. I have to get down to 151 pounds. Call me when you weigh less. Fuck those guys. They can all go fuck themselves. I did call them up. I was curious. Has anybody ever done anything weird like that? And just wanted to know, well, how much money can I make becoming a hoe? Okay, so I do work for an agency. We're not allowed to have sex with the clients. I do professional senior caregiving. They frown on it. That's my ex-husband, too. That was senior caregiving. He's 14 years older than me. And he's wonderful for allowing me to stay at his house. And those people back there, they're so chatty. But whatever, I'm just rehearsing my stuff. The first 2 jokes were good because those were rehearsed. Those are tested. Holy shit, those first 2 jokes, oh my god! I love it when, none of this, I was just like, if I could get up here and do 2 jokes that work, I'll be so fucking happy. And the rest of this is just shit. The rest of it's shit. So you have a good job.
FCC.
Oh, it's caca. The rest of it is caca. Frick! I didn't think that was one of the words because someone said we're allowed to say ass, right? Or butt.
You can say butt.
No, you can say ass.
You can say ass.
There are 3 words you can't say. You just need 2.
I know the other words. I didn't know about the S word. Oh, holy! Oh man, I was doing good. So it's true. I've spent a lot of time up in Canada. Everyone smokes weed up there. There's lots and lots of drugs if you guys are into experimenting. The other drugs are not legal. Don't tell anybody you do drugs or that you found them in Canada or that you heard about all the drugs from me. Please don't say that. It's just, it's much better if you just, keep this on the down low and you're not broadcast it, because drugs, they're so illegal. Oh my god, drugs. What the fuck? Drugs and undercover sex rings. Oh my goodness. Okay, so gosh darn it, Thomas. I'm sorry. So, I have a potty mouth, and sometimes it slips out. I'm pretty sure I have Tourette's, but fortunately, because I have Tourette's, all of my cannabis needs are covered. So I am very happy about that. I'm going to close on that. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Ruth Ruhnke, everybody, give her a round of applause. And if she has one of those medical cards, please know we are friends and we like you. This has been Bottoms of the Barrel Comedy Show here at Shakers, 3160 North Clark. We do this the 3rd Tuesday of the month. The next show is going to be in September. I also have a radio show every Saturday on Q4 Radio, AM 1680, Q4.org, called Bottoms of the Barrel.
Don't forget 98.3 FM.
Don't know.
That's only temporary. We were told not to say that. Yes. We get scolded so horribly there.
I got an email.
So let me know if you guys ever want to be a guest on my radio show. It's we talk about current events. We play music that should apply but really doesn't. And in my defense, with playing Debbie Gibson's Electric Youth to describe school shootings, a friend said, "Why didn't you play Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People?" I don't know why I thought people knew that song. So give a round of applause for all our comedians tonight. We have Jackie Cooper, Juan Chavez, Brian Bianchi, Emma Hillier, Phil Burns, Marie Salter, Andrew Tavin. This is where you clap. This is where it sounds like we were all happy to be here. Andrew Tavin, Sean Schnellhammer, Alan Ford Jr., James McKinley, Brian Johnson, Ruth Ruhnke. I have been your host, Thomas Bottoms. And remember, we all saw Barron Trump today. He's 12 years old, wearing a polo shirt and khakis. He's just a tiki torch away from being a Trump supporter. Round of applause, Bottoms of the Barrel. Goodbye.